All right, now this is a crazy story. I heard about this from Jack Murphy. This is more child exploitation as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now fair warning: if you're reading this, there are some swear words. I'm not going to read them out loud. Jack Murphy has children, and he lives in D.C., so this directly affects him. And shout out to Jack Murphy. You don't know who he is? You should definitely check him out. He's an awesome dude. Jack Murphy. He actually joins Timcast quite often now that we're not too far. But yeah, check this out. He said DC is trying to vaccinate your kids without telling parents. No parental notification or consent. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a secret process whereby parents are deliberately cut out of the vax decision process. This is crazy. Look, I'm not saying I'm an anti-vaxxer, pro-vaxxer. It doesn't matter. I don't care. You don't take the decision away from the parents. That is ridiculous. Look at this. Look at this. DC Council to make final vote on bill that would allow minors to get vaccines without parental consent. This is legit. This is crazy. They're inching closer to approving a bill that would allow children as young as 11 years old to get recommended vaccines without their parental or parents' approval. There would be some requirements, but direction overall would come from a doctor. A final vote from a council is expected Tuesday. Wow. When Ward 3 Councilmember Mary Shea introduced the Minor Consent for Vaccinations Amendment Act of 2019, it was in response to a measles outbreak that spread from coast to coast in the U.S. At the time, many wondered if the district would become the next hotspot as vaccination rates trended downward in the city. I think it should be worrisome to people when children are not vaccinated for these diseases, Shea said. The bill would give kids as young as 11 years old the green light to get a vaccination without parental consent if a doctor recommends it. The doctor would also determine if the child meets a certain standard of informed consent before administering the vaccine. To prevent the parents from knowing, health providers would be required to bill insurers directly and send the vaccination records to the school, not to the parents, to the school. The gateway, again, is the physician who has to make this judgment that is that person 11, 12, 15, 18 capable of giving informed consent, and is it consistent with the physician's medical judgment, Shea said. Asha Pinkney Gillis has a 5-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. She tells WUSA 9 the measure is concerning to her household. Of course. She does not believe her teenager is old enough or emotionally ready to make decisions without her help. I am 100% against the bill, Gillis said. I think it violates my fundamental right as a parent to manage the upbringing and the health and welfare of my child. If my child goes and gets a vaccination and has an adverse reaction to the vaccination, I won't know what's going on because I've never been told my child has been inoculated, Gillis said. According to a July 6th letter to D.C. school leaders from the Office of the State Superintendent of Education, fewer families have paid visits to the doctor's office because of the pandemic. Officials cite a lack of access to care and families avoiding offices overall. Due to fewer visits, the letter said many children in the district are not fully immunized, which could make another infectious outbreak worse. In a legislative meeting Tuesday, the bill received full support from 12 council members. One member was absent. A final vote is expected Tuesday, November 17th, before heading to Mayor Muriel Bowser's office for review, who's super blue, if you don't know Mayor Bowser, but she's probably going to be like, yep, next. While the intent is good, I think there are several kinks that need to be worked out before this is finalized, Gillis said. Councilmember Shea said a number of medical experts and organizations, including the Medical Society of D.C. and District's Health Department, have reviewed the proposal and fully support it. This is insane. Now, Jack Murphy actually does a couple more, a little bit more digging, obviously, because he has kids and lives in D.C., so this directly affects him. All right, this is crazy. I'm just going to read this thread that he's got going on, and don't mind, he does swear. I'm not going to read them out loud, though. The new laws not only propose to cut parents out of the decision-making process, but it also proposes to create mechanisms by which the billing for a vaccine is done secretly and directly to the insurance company so the parents don't know and cannot stop it. I am not even anti-vax, but I don't know that I want my kids getting this vaccine either. But I do know is that I sure don't want the state getting between me and my kid by creating a conspiracy to keep me on one side and the insurance company, the doctor, and my kid on the other. Absolutely agree with him there. If this vaccine law passes, the school could herd all of the 11-year-olds into a room, tell them they must get a vaccine, administer the shot, bill the parents' insurance company directly, and the parents would never even know what happened to their child. All right, so he says here that it passed unanimously. It actually passed, he does a correction. It passed 10-3. All right, it wasn't unanimous, but the next step is the Mayor Bowser approval and then congressional approval. This is crazy. All right, so we need to stop this. All right, if you live in DC, please, if you think this is crazy, if you think this is borderline authoritarian, it absolutely is very, very much borderline authoritarian. Oh, come on. Sorry, let me get this UFO here real quick. Come on, stay. Good boy. Yeah, so this is insane. Sorry, for those who are just listening to the podcast, I had to put the UFO back into its floating position because it just doesn't feel right when I knock it down, but I will spin it for everybody that is here. All right, so thank you, Jack Murphy, for sending me that story. It is crazy to think that this is where the government is now heading, okay? This is what they want. They want to take away the rights of the parents. They want to take away the rights of the citizens. They want you locked in. They don't want you talking anymore. They want full communism because they want the power. That's all this is about, is the power. They want the money. They want whoever's giving them the money. They're just going to flow with that. Whatever, we're going to do that. And it is crazy. All right, so my goodness, this stuff is insane.